Hello guys, welcome to another video. So today we're going to look at USDCHF. So this one, it's not something that I trade, but it was suggested to me by one of the people that I taught in November. I think last year she was in the group that joined in November. So let me just show you. This could be end up being a very good trade. So she just sent me pictures and asked me about it. We just had a chat about it, and then she asked me just to make a video and share with you guys because she thinks this could be a very good trade for long term, right? So let's get started. The monthly chart looks like this, so which means if you look at this low here, this is something that for the price to break this, it's not gonna be easy for the price to move lower than this because of what? Like even if you trace it to the left from that point, if you move to the left, you'll find that it's around this. So this is the same point. It's the same point here. I don't know what was happening here. I don't know. And we are back at the same level again, because now if the bulls don't defend this level, it means they're gonna let the sellers take them all the way down like that, and it's not something that they would want to see. So that's why we are saying they will try by all means to defend this structure, which means it's possible that we can get some nice buy trades from around this level, because should the price move lower than this low here, it's not exactly at 0.8769. It's not exactly there, but you can see the low that I'm trying to place it at. So if the price moves lower than that, then the sellers will have won and they're going to push the bulls all the way down. So that's why for now we'll say around this level that we are touching, it's very possible that the price could reject and move up to at least around there. So I'll show you when you move to the smaller time frames, which is where it looks much interesting, and that's where she managed to get her trades, because when she was asking me about it, she wanted to take it. She did get some trades and she exited around the daily area of resistance. I'll show you when we get to those ones. So let's check what the price looks like on weekly. So this is our weekly chart, and we can see that it's been moving to the downside ever since, dropping back to the area of resistance and then dropped again. But now this is the law that we are saying. For the price to break this, is gonna be, if it breaks this, then it means the bulls would have been defeated and there's nothing they can do now to stop the price, which means we're saying this is their last chance to defend their structure. And we can say here, even on weekly, it's somewhere around that monthly one. So we are touching the same level. The price, if you look at it, it's been falling nicely to the downside, but now look at the type of candlesticks that we are getting, which means it is feeling the hit from that monthly support. It is feeling the hit from this weekly support, which means it's increasing the pressure, and there's high possibility that the price would react and move to the upside. As you can see, we have got some bullish pin bars there. And in terms of what we have here on weekly, is that if the price does react from that, if it happens that it reacts, it will be, targeting something like that. So this would be the nearest structure or the trend line, whichever one is hit first. So when you're thinking of taking those buy trades, you need to understand that we are not saying take your buy trades and then put your take profit there, because now what are you saying about all these structures? Because you'll be saying that they have to be removed. No one knows about that. So we will only be taking those trades targeting these structures, and then when you're out, or maybe you've got one trade that's still left, if it happens that the price breaks the structures, then you anticipate a pullback. When it happens, then you can join them, but you cannot just say you will exit there. You are going to be, it's not going to be a nice ride. So let's get to the daily chart. So this is what we have on the daily chart, and her first take profits were, at this daily chart. So she managed to exit around there. So because I was asking her to say that, yes, I do understand, and I hear you when you're saying this could be a very long-term type of a buy trade, but you need to be careful when the price gets to this level, which is why she opted for exiting some of your trades. Because I mean, as much as you know that on the monthly chart the price could be headed all the way to the upside, but you cannot ignore the fact that there's these obstacles on this daily chart. So that's why it makes sense that when the price gets there, if it's nice when you've got more than one trade, because when the price gets there, you can exit one of those trades, and then the remaining one, you just need to make sure that you put the stop loss above break even, so that should the price react from that daily resistance and then continue going to the downside, maybe it's not done, it wants to move closer to the horizontal line before taking off, you know that if it does that, then it's not gonna kick you out with a loss, right? The same thing we're saying that when the price is moving up, even if you're anticipating that this could be a long-term trade, you cannot ignore this. Because what if now you ignore it, you have got all these pips that you have accumulated and you just decided not to do anything. You knew very well that this could be an obstacle, but you kept on saying, no, I'll exit up there. So now, if the price wants to do this before taking off, what do you think is going to happen to your trade? So which is why it's very important that when you're taking your trades, when you have a trade that's running, you manage it accordingly. When there's an obstacle nearby, it's either you're going to use that to place your take profit, or when the price approaches that, if you only have one trade and you want to hold it for long term, you can just make sure that you at least move to break even. Right, so here this is what we have on daily is still very much bearish, because of what, we haven't broken the bearish trend line, and we haven't broken the same resistance that she had to exit her trade and make sure that she leaves one running, because of what, the fact that we're seeing the trend is still going to the downside on this time frame. It's possible that the price could react from that resistance and move back to the downside, which is why she had to use this as a take profit one. You see, so now if it happens that the remaining trade that she has running, the price moves up like that, then it means the bears would have lost, because of what, their trend line would have been removed and their area of resistance would have been removed. And now she can, continue holding like that. But for now, she understands that as much as she doesn't want to close the remaining trade, but she's aware that this is an obstacle, because this is the trend is still going to the downside alongside with what, the trend line. So those are the two obstacles that is going to be very difficult for the price to pass, because you can see already the candlestick that was found on Friday just moved all the way up into that resistance, and then it reversed. We had that long tail, but it's for as long as the price doesn't move back to where she entered, she can always, the price can just play there before taking off. So we'll see how it plays out this week. So you just need to make sure that if you want to join this trade and you're someone that's trading on daily, for now you can't take a buy trade from where we are, because why would you want to buy from a resistance? So it's either you're gonna wait for a pullback, then get maybe some rejection signs there, maybe bullish pin bars or bullish engulfing, then you can use that to push up, or you can just wait for the price to break this, then you mark this as the zone that pushed up and broke those two structures. If the price pulls back, that's where you're going to buy, and make sure that you join this potential long-term move to the upside. Now let's check what we have on H4. So this is the structure that we have on H4 currently, and we can see that the price did move up towards remember the daily trend line was somewhere there. Even the H4, if you want, you can just put it there and say that's your H4 trend line. H4 was bearish. We had this as the nearest area of resistance. The price did move up to those structures, and then it got rejected. And when it got rejected, if you look closely here, if you look here, there is what we call a bearish engulfing, which suggests that there is some pressure to push to the downside, which means as much as you're saying that your bigger guys are saying that there's a possibility that the price could go up for a very long time, but it doesn't mean the price should just shoot up immediately. That's why when the price got to that daily resistance, she understood that it's possible that the price could reject from there. You can see this drop, so that's why she used that as her first take profit. And now you can see that there's still some sellers that are saying, no, we don't want to let go. That's why they're giving us that bearish engulfing. That's why the price can still push back before taking off. So when you look at the structure here on H4, we can see it was moving down strongly, and it left this, which is what, drop base drop. It left another one, this, which is drop base drop, and both of them now have been removed, right? This has been removed, this has been removed. So basically on H4 the bulls have won, but they managed to push the price towards what? The next opposing structure on this very same time frame, which is what? This area of resistance there at the top. When you look at this area of resistance there at the top, even though when the price moved back to it, the trend was already bullish at the time, but you need to understand that this is fresh, and it pushed down and broke trend line. It pushed down and broke support. So basically it pushed down and broke support, and it broke trend line. So it's very strong, right? And again, it is found inside that daily resistance. So that's why, even though if you were holding those buy trades, like she was holding the buy trades, and she understood that the H4 was bullish, but she cannot ignore the fact that now it is touching this area of resistance, which is inside the daily one, which has accomplished what? Changing the structures here and breaking the trend line and support, which is why she had to exit there. So currently we can say we are still very much bullish on this H4. We can put a bullish trend line, which is gonna remain somewhere there, and you can mark this as your support. This is your H4 support. So basically, if the price does move to the downside like this, if it wants to make a deeper pullback before taking off, you will say, I need to keep in mind it's coming from this, which is what? Daily resistance. Remember, there's daily resistance there, and daily is still bearish. So what if this is daily trying to continue with its own trend before the monthly and weekly can come into place and push all the way up? So what if this is a pressure to try and respect the structures that we're seeing on daily? So because you don't know whether this is just a pullback, this is just a pullback before you take off. So the best way would be to say, and this is my support, this is my trend line, right? So if the price get to them, you can say what? Maybe I'll get a bullish pin bar, or maybe I'll get a bullish engulfing. Then you can use that as your confirmation to say it looks like the bulls are trying to sort of protect their zone. So you can use that to buy from that structure and push to the upside. So I wouldn't advise you to just go and place a buy stop, a buy limit here, because if this is the sellers from daily pushing all the way to the downside, they can end up pushing beyond your zone and even try, like I said, try and move, because this daily, remember, is still moving to the downside. So they could just respect their trend line and their resistance and push towards this 0.87557 before taking off. So that's why even the lady that took the trade, she understood very well to say she got some trade somewhere from there. But because this is an obstacle, even though she thinks this can be a long-term trade, but you cannot ignore the obstacle that's on the way, which is why she had to exit some of her trade there and make sure that the remaining trade is at break even, basically, so that should the price respect these guys and push down, she made some money with the first trade that he'd take profit, and the remaining one was closed with small profit because the stop loss is above break even, you see. So you must let the market guide you. So here what we're saying on H4 is that if that daily resistance wants to keep holding, it wants to play, and it will most probably remove this H4 bullish structure. So basically H4 is saying is bullish, it has got this. So that's why when the price gets to this, you can what? Make sure that you do that with confirmation, because there's high chance that the trade could end up being a long-term trade. But we need to make sure that all the obstacles that we come across along the way, we take them into consideration, because we can see already there's a sign there that H4 is saying there's too much force from up there. That's why they even gave us what? Bearish engulfing. So there's a chance that they would want to go down to that. But when you look at the bigger guys, weekly, monthly, there's a chance that in the next coming weeks or months, the price could go up. You see, you hear me? It's in the next coming what? Months or weeks, not immediately. So just because those guys are saying the price is a long-term thing does not mean this should just continue rallying like that. No, this can just play around before taking off. And then when you look at the monthly chart, it will look maybe in the next a month or two, you see it going up. But here we can have some bearish trends. So that's what we are having here. So she understands this very well. That's why she had to move to break even. So let's check what we have on H1 and see if we can get a trade. So on H1, this is what we having. So that's why I'm saying when the price, even if your trend is still pushing to the upside on your smaller time frame, but the fact that you understand where the price is coming from, like it's the same thing that we're seeing here, because we understand that this is the price coming from that daily resistance and H4 resistance inside the same daily. So what if this is the sellers at the daily zone flexing their muscles, and you here with your rally base rally with this area of support or this area of demand, you here you are saying at the time when the price was pulling back to this support or this area of demand, the price was still bullish. So let me try and buy from this because the trend is still bullish. You see? So that's why you need to understand that, because you know that where the price is coming, there's a big guy there. There's H4 and there's daily. So because you know that, the best option would be to say, because the trend is still bullish, yes, I'm allowed to buy, but with what confirmation? Because of what? This could be the sellers from the bigger time frames, the daily, and the daily, remember, is still pushing to the downside and we are at the resistance. So this could be the sellers at that resistance and that bearish trend line on daily flexing their muscles. They could defeat you because you're just an H1 area of support. So that's why you need to say, no, I'll wait for the price to touch my zone of interest, and then if there's a sign that I can buy, I will buy. If not, then I'm not going in. And you can see here it just moved past the zone. But if you wanted to be in the trade so badly because you knew that the monthly is saying where you are touching, there's a chance of it going up, you would have just went in and lost. You see? So the monthly should just be there to guide you, not to say to you because the monthly is forming a pin bar, then you can just buy immediately. No, you need to understand that you are trading on a different time frame. Monthly is just there to guide you that for the next coming weeks or months, there's a possibility that the price could go up. But drilling down to smaller time frames, that's where you'll be able to tell whether the price is ready to go all the way up, or if there's any obstacle that you need to pay attention to, because it can hold the price for a couple of days or weeks before it takes off. Remember, each time frame can have its own structure. You need to be able to read the structure on each and every time frame, so that when you're trying to bring all these time frames together, you make a decision that will be, it's easier for you to say, okay, I think it's best for me to wait for a day or two, or to wait for a couple of hours until the price reaches this level, then I can buy or sell. So this is our H1. This guy has been removed. So the sellers have managed to remove an area of support, which means the next area of support is this one, which is inside the very same H4 that I said to you. When the price get to it, or if it gets to it, because H4 is still going up, with confirmation you can buy. So when you go back to your H1, this has been removed, and we are saying this is the next one. So basically, if it happens that the price gets to this, you will say I'm at the H4 level. If I get confirmation, maybe a bullish pin bar or bullish engulfing, I can buy from there. But without those things, I'm not going in, right? So on the other hand, someone can say, I like to take I like taking risks, because I do understand that this here, this area of resistance or this area of supply, is the one that pushed to the downside and broke this, and it is found very much inside that daily resistance, H4 resistance, that we said that looks like they are holding. So what if now the very same area of resistance on H1, the price manages to move to it? Am I allowed to take a sell there? Yes, you can approach it the same way we're saying you need to approach this one, because of what this guy has done. When the price gets to it, you can take a sell trade with confirmation and hope that, because the price is still around the same daily resistance and the same daily bearish trend line, these two, remember, these two guys are saying we're still bearish, we're inside our structure. So that's why you're saying if the price happens to go back there, maybe it wants to play around there before it wants to move to the downside. But we're not so sure about that because the monthly can just break this. So that's why we have to wait for the market to direct us whether it wants to break that already or it wants to remain underneath this trend line for a while, maybe for a day or two, or this throughout this week. So that's why I'm saying on your H1 there, because there's a possibility that the price could remain underneath that daily resistance, trend line and resistance. You are gonna say that this resistance on H1, because it pushed down and broke this guy, there's a possibility that the sellers, that's a sign that the sellers that are here are strong because they do have a backup from what you saw on daily, right? So if it happens that the price goes there, you need confirmation for that, because when you look at what the daily, if the price moves up like that, this could mean this the buyers that have been activated from there, they really want to challenge this resistance and that trend line. So basically that's how you can go about trading this one, depending on whether you are someone that trades on H4 or H1. You need to make sure that you stick to the structure that's on your time frame and make decisions based on that. So here on H1, your eyes are on this or this, whichever one is hit first, and you need confirmation for both. And on H4, your eyes are here, buying from this, because this resistance we can't really sell from it. Your eyes are here, buying from this or the trend line, whichever one is hit first, and you need confirmation for that. If you are someone that trades on daily is saying you are at the resistance and you bearish trend line and you're still bearish. If you get confirmation from this, I don't know if you are strong enough to try and push towards that horizontal line, or you are done, you will just wait for the price to remove these structures, then you can buy. Then you'll know that you've got backup from the monthly area of support there. So that's how you can go about trading this one. So if you haven't subscribed, please do so. It's the right thing to do. That's what Mr. How Much likes saying. But otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you.